Navigating a relationship with my partner 30F, I feel like I'm stuck in a passionless rut. Do you lack ambition for a girlfriend? She asks as I struggle to climax during sex. With her tumultuous past making me question our connection, can a love without butterflies still thrive? So I 29 years old, male, and my current partner 30 years old, female have been together for just over a year and have also been renting together for the past 3 months. She is a wonderful person, and it is undoubtedly the healthiest relationship I have ever experienced. We are like best friends who live together and offer support and care to one another. When I describe the nature of my relationship to others, I compare it to companionate love. And people tell me that it is perfectly natural and healthy to feel that way once the honeymoon phase has ended. However, I have never experienced butterflies or gone through that phase at all. Initially, this did not seem like a significant issue to me. While I have never felt butterflies for anyone, I have had intense feelings in previous relationships. However, those relationships were unhealthy and I was not treated well. As a result, I have come to associate passion with insecurity and prioritize peace above all else. In my view, the absence of a honeymoon phase is a positive aspect. Lately, though, I have been questioning whether this is natural. This doubt has been partly fueled by my partner mentioning on several occasions that she feels I do not behave romantically enough and worries that I lack the ambition to have a girlfriend. Although I continue to do romantic things, such as cuddling, buying her gifts, and hiding them around the house, she appreciates these gestures but has expressed a desire for more physical affection and for me to vocalize my romantic feelings for her more often. Another significant aspect contributing to my doubts relates to our sex life. This is only my second sexual relationship, and the previous one was very short-lived. Therefore, I still have a lot to learn about myself, and she is aware of this too. At times, I find it very challenging to climax during sex, and sometimes I cannot climax at all. I experienced this issue in my previous relationship as well, which she knows. In fact, during my first sexual experience, I felt a complete lack of sensation. With my current partner, I do feel sexual pleasure, but I sometimes find it hard to reach orgasm. While I personally do not see this as an issue, as long as we enjoy the overall experience, she used to become quite upset about it, which put a strain on the relationship initially. On one occasion, she abruptly stopped the sexual activity because she disliked how long it was taking me to finish, stating that it made her feel unwanted. She apologized the next morning, but I was quite upset that night. Following that incident, I went through a phase where I focused entirely on achieving orgasm as quickly as possible, and now I am at a point where I climax around 80% of the time. However, the sexual dynamic is rather peculiar. When I climax, the sexual activity simply concludes regardless of whether she has orgasmed. I would prefer to continue pleasuring her, but she is not a fan of oral sex, apparently. She never has been and generally likes to keep foreplay short, which makes me feel she is not enthusiastic about non-penetrative sex. She also tends to become sensitive after she orgasms, so if I cannot climax within a few minutes of her reaching orgasm, we just end the sexual activity without me finishing. I am fine with this, but she often feels guilty about it and asks how close I was to finishing, seemingly to assess whether I was near climaxing enough for us to continue or if it would take too long. Admittedly, I would love to receive oral sex, but she has only initiated it once. And when I expressed surprise and asked her if it was something she enjoyed, she merely replied sometimes and then moved straight to penetrative sex, and it never occurred again. I have mentioned my interest in lingerie a few times, but she responds in a mysterious or seductive manner, stating she will keep it in mind and nothing has come of it. I stopped bringing it up, suspecting it may be something she is simply not interested in but does not want to state explicitly. Personally, I would prefer sex to be a deeply intimate action with variety and foreplay, where we concentrate on satisfying each other and do not necessarily need to orgasm every time, but gradually progress towards orgasming more frequently as we grow closer. For her, I believe sex is more about feeling wanted and desired, so she does not focus on her own orgasm and only requires me to reach orgasm to feel fulfilled. She has expressed the desire to feel more passion from me and wants me to pull her around. Additionally, she dislikes it when I verbally request sex and has advised me to simply initiate it. However, she never asks either. She just takes the initiative, but sometimes it takes me a while to distinguish between random romantic kisses and foreplay kisses, leading me to worry about being slow to react and potentially making her feel rejected. Overall, this situation is starting to make sex feel more like a responsibility than a shared intimate experience. As an additional point, there is some information regarding her past relationships that I believe is directly relevant to this situation. For instance, I met a previous hookup of hers from before we met, who lived in the same building and worked at the same company. I was unaware until we crossed paths and she became startled, then informed me they had a history and that she had been planning to tell me but was unsure how. She claimed he did not want a relationship, and she had no feelings for him, but he continually asked her for sex. And she eventually agreed twice because she was feeling really down and needed to feel wanted in that way and used him. She mentioned that she ceased hooking up with him about a month before we met, but he attempted to initiate contact with her for several months after our relationship began, including inviting her to stay at his place on one occasion when her roommate had family visiting and added, "You can bring your boyfriend too." She declined, deleted the text, and later informed me, but when I requested to see the text, she explained she deleted it because it angered her. She indicated that she really disliked him and had told him to stop multiple times even before our relationship started, stating that she expressed her disinterest in continuing contact once we began dating. She resented him for treating her like a booty call, which is why she ended their hookups in the first place. I then assisted her in composing a message to him stating that she was uncomfortable communicating with him and wanted the contact to cease as per her request. She sent the text in front of me and asked me to monitor her phone for a reply because she was feeling anxious about his reaction. He simply replied that he understood, assuring her he would not contact her again, and that concluded the matter. I think about this frequently because it seems to indicate that she has a strong desire to feel sexually wanted, to the extent of engaging in self-destructive behaviors while single. Nonetheless, I am uncertain if she genuinely meant it when she claimed to have no feelings for him. Perhaps she stated that to avoid making me jealous. Ideally, I would prefer that she had feelings, but then recognized that he was not a suitable person and cut him off. However, if he was essentially harassing her and she just used him to fulfill her need to feel sexually desired, despite her dislike for him, I believe that would be a significant red flag. I was also intrigued by how maturely he responded to the text I helped her write. When I inquired about the previous instances she told him to stop contacting her, she suggested that she probably was not clear enough because she did not want to be rude. On the other hand, I am also aware that she cheated in a previous relationship. Although nothing physical occurred, she was sexting someone else during a 4-year relationship that turned long distance in the final year because she felt her boyfriend was only interested in his own satisfaction. She stated that she created a bubble for herself, convincing herself it was not cheating as long as there was no physical contact, but she did meet the guy in person once and then ended contact because it didn't feel the same. My understanding is that nothing physical happened during their meeting either, but I do wonder. Furthermore, she mentioned that she never told her boyfriend about their meeting. However, he discovered the texts while visiting her from the United States to Europe and became furious. She stated they discussed it and managed to make things work for a short while after that before she ultimately ended the relationship. This event occurred approximately a year before we met, and she shared all of this with me at the beginning of our relationship. She cried while recounting it, acknowledging that I might leave because of it, but she felt I had the right to know. This brings me back to my initial question. While I am certainly satisfied with the companionate love we share, I do find myself wondering if there is a missing element. Is it normal or healthy to lack a honeymoon phase at the beginning of a relationship? And to what extent should passion be a component of a healthy, established relationship? I think I would be less concerned if she had not made it clear that she desired more passion and physical affection from me, and if we were not experiencing difficulties in bed. However, I cannot ascertain how much of her expectations are normal versus arising from insecurity due to her past. Recently, she has been expressing interest in marriage, despite these issues, which makes me feel somewhat pressured to resolve our problems swiftly to avoid wasting her time if there is an incompatibility. Summary: I, 29 years old male, have limited sexual experiences, and all my previous passionate relationships were unstable and unhealthy. I now associate passion with anxiety and seek peace and stability in a relationship or companionate love. I feel I have discovered that with my current partner, 30 years old female, but she perceives me as lacking in passion and interest. This has translated into her expecting me to climax during sex despite my difficulties prior to meeting her, and she is not enthusiastic about non-penetrative forms of sex, which limits my options for satisfying her after I climax. This has begun to make me feel as though my sole responsibility is to orgasm and demonstrate my desire for her. Yet she has cheated in a past relationship due to feeling that her partner was only interested in satisfying himself, which leaves me feeling perplexed and concerned. I worry that the problem lies with me and whether there is a passion or element to love that I should be experiencing but am not, and that I lack the experience to recognize it, which may be the root cause of the issue. Given her past, I also wonder if she has a strong need to feel desired to the point of engaging in risky behaviors to satisfy it, causing my calm and peaceful expressions of affection to clash with that need. Alternatively, it could be both. To what degree should a healthy relationship contain an element of passion, and should I be concerned about her past actions? Story 2. Navigating my relationship at 20 is exhausting. I feel like I'm a burden, I told them, yet they went silent for a week. You always blow past what I say, I pleaded, but they shrugged it off. Now I'm questioning if I should keep fighting for us or just walk away. I understand that the title may be somewhat ambiguous, so I will provide further details. The primary issue and the reason I require assistance with this matter is that I do not feel comfortable discussing serious topics with them anymore. I partially take responsibility for raising concerns too frequently and being impatient. However, I genuinely do not know what else I should do other than address issues as they arise and revisit them if they remain unresolved. They simply become exasperated with me and express that they feel as though they are always doing something wrong, which is understandable. Yet, I do not believe that what I request are substantial demands, and I consistently try to find a middle ground. Nonetheless, I feel as though they do not truly hear me for what I am trying to communicate. Most recently, I raised an issue regarding how, more often than not, when I message them, they completely overlook and ignore what I express to discuss their preferred topics. When they do respond, it is usually very superficial and brief. For instance, the other day I mentioned my plans to purchase a new car and they simply replied, "Awesome, that's great, it is very cold outside," which left me confused. When I brought up my concerns, they responded angrily, saying it is challenging for them to always provide engaging commentary and go through lengthy messages, stating that they cannot consistently set everything aside to focus on their phone for me. That last comment hurt me deeply and has been troubling me significantly, as it did not reflect what I said at all. It felt so unrelated and made me feel like a significant burden to them. However, I did not imply that I expected them to do that. I attempted to clarify my intentions and find a compromise because I understand they are busy, they have personal matters to manage, it is their first year of college, and they also have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which likely complicates things. Still, I am not asking for any of what they mentioned. I merely seek some acknowledgement, anything at all. While I appreciate that they did provide me with a response in that instance, I still wonder if they truly have nothing more to offer. No, "Oh, that is so exciting," or "What kind of car are you considering?" or anything similar, just "Good for you, now let's talk about the weather." I cannot shake the feeling that they do not care about me or anything I say, and as a result, I do not feel valued, loved, or important. After I raised the issue, they were so upset that they took space from me for a week, over a week, in fact. Shortly after, I shared with them that, as a military dependent, distance significantly affects my relationships because, as a child, I had to emotionally detach quickly to protect myself and my well-being, which has continued into adulthood despite my desire for it not to. That absence has taken a serious toll on my feelings towards them and our relationship, yet they have not even acknowledged or commented on it. I have hardly messaged them since, even though they seem fine now and are willing to engage with me, simply because I do not feel capable of enduring the ongoing hurt and rejection I experience when they ignore me. It appears they have not noticed that anything is wrong. During my spring break last week, we met once. Since I live about an hour and a half away for college, we typically only spend weekends together. It deeply hurts me that they only wanted to hang out once and later disregarded my offer to meet up after they inquired if anyone could join a Discord we both participate in. Throughout the week, they had ample opportunity to spend time with other friends and have a good time, but they seldom asked to hang out or barely talk to me at all. This reinforces my belief that if I do not consistently make an effort, we would never see or communicate with each other at all. They even had the audacity to say they missed me that single time we were together. It makes no sense to me. They were the ones distancing themselves from me. If they missed me that much, they could have reached out at any moment. They could have asked to hang out days earlier, not ignored me later that day, or invited me to meet at any other point that week. But they did none of these things. I realize this may sound negative, and some individuals may suggest the typical "just break up," but they are genuinely experiencing a lot in their personal life, and I can somewhat empathize with their situation of feeling overwhelmed while having a partner who constantly has requests, no matter how minor, as these demands can accumulate in one's mind. Nonetheless, I wish for them to understand my viewpoint. I feel apprehensive that if I bring this all up again, they may become angry and potentially leave me. In truth, I feel so detached that I am on the verge of leaving them myself, but I genuinely want to give it one more chance and attempt to work through these issues. Perhaps it seems that I am a poor boyfriend and that they are fine. I do not know. All I truly desire is a relationship that works for both of us and meets our needs, yet I feel as though I am being perceived as a malicious person in their eyes for striving to achieve that. I think they may not be communicating their own problems with me as openly as they should, and I sincerely want to understand that information. I wish to know if they are angry with me, and I want the opportunity to address the issue and arrive at a solution that suits us both. Unfortunately, I feel as though they reject every compromise I propose and are unwilling to even attempt to suggest their own. In summary, my partner is frustrated with me for raising too many concerns. I am frustrated with them for various reasons, yet I now feel unable to discuss these issues since they are already irritated that I bring up too many topics. How can I effectively communicate these feelings to my partner? I feel that expressing it as I have here would be counterproductive since I am overwhelmed with pent-up frustration and hurt, which I believe is evident. I need to convey these thoughts in a way that does not seem like an attack or a lengthy list of things they need to change, while also communicating the significance of these concerns to me and enabling me to express what I need to tell them. Thank you in advance for any guidance. I truly desperately need it.